Coming up, civic leaders weigh in on next year's city budget. Getting your city permits just got a lot easier, and new details about senior and disabled real estate tax relief. These and many more stories from Talbot Park to Tanner's Creek coming up on Norfolk News Now. Hello, and thank you for joining us for Norfolk News Now. I'm Karen Parker Chesson. Doing business at City Hall recently became a lot more convenient. The new Development Services Center is now open for business on the 4th floor of Norfolk City Hall, making the process of doing business in the city much easier.
Development Services Center is a convenient place for our customers to access permits, like building permits, mechanical, electrical, plumbing permits. They can also access plan reviews for the residential and commercial plans. We also have the Department of Utilities that is here, and they will be doing water and sewer taps, and they can also get their business licenses reviewed for zoning issues.
When we started the process, we asked our customers what was important to them, what could we do to improve. And they told us that there were some processes that we could improve, but as much as anything, that we could improve the experience of coming and getting a permit. And so part of that is a spatial improvement that we've accomplished, we believe, today.
The Development Services Center is a product of the City of Norfolk's Smart Processing Initiative, which looks at processes and technology to improve efficiency and provide better customer service. The Norfolk Department of Human Services is currently accepting applications for the city's real estate tax relief program. To qualify, Norfolk citizens must be at least 65 years old or be totally and permanently disabled. Eligible residents must live in their own property. Information sessions regarding the tax relief program are being held throughout the city in April and May. For additional information and to request an application form, you've got two ways to go. You can call 823-1130 or visit norfolk.gov/senior tax relief. The city is looking for your input. 2 proposals for the former Jeb Stuart School site have been received and are open for public input.
So we put out a request for proposals to the world and asked for a wide creativity for anyone that had any interest in bringing a proposal for what the actual real estate could be used for. As a result of that, we did receive for Stuart School, which is the subject matter this evening, 2 proposals from developers, the Landmark Group and Luna Development, for proposals for adaptive reuse of the building.
So we feel that we can develop a 60-unit, 56 to 60-unit apartment building with market rents, only using historic tax credits, and the numbers work. To do away with that park, the park and the basketball court, and in that area you see here, we plan on putting 3,000 square feet of retail development.
What are we talking about here? We're talking about 59 affordable apartments for seniors, governed under the Low-Income Housing Tax Credit Program. These are independent senior living units. This is not managed care. This is not health care of any kind. There's no cafeteria or even house maintenance type of thing. It's just independent seniors, 55 and over, so many of them are still working.
These 2 proposals are the beginning of a conversation with the community about how to reuse the property. Comments are being accepted via online form, email, and mail until May 5th. Information and the full presentations are available online at norfolk.gov/schoolsiteconcepts. Carnival Cruise Lines is returning to Norfolk in full splendor in 2015. The cruise line announced that the 952-foot-long Carnival Splendor, one of Carnival's newest and largest ships, will operate a unique series of itineraries, including a Bermuda cruise and a 2-day cruise to nowhere from the Half Moon Cruise and Celebration Center. The 113-ton Carnival Splendor accommodates more than 3,000 passengers and a 1,000 crew member team. In addition to the Carnival Splendor calls, 20 stopover cruises are scheduled for the Half Moon Cruise and Celebration Center in 2014 and 2015. In total, this represents nearly 60,000 cruise passengers visiting Norfolk. As we approach crunch time for the establishment of the FY15 Norfolk budget, the city is getting some help from those who know Norfolk best, its residents.
If you put together a budget that does not have citizen input, it's just a horrible budget to begin with, okay?
To make the upcoming 2015 budget a good budget, City Manager Marcus Jones wanted citizen input. So, he recently recruited Civic League presidents from throughout Norfolk for their help.
The city manager did an outstanding job calling the Civic League president to get them together to give their input, because the neighborhoods know what we need throughout the city.
We have a $20 million gap. We've worked on, the budget office and the city administration has worked on closing to about $9 million. So we are giving them an opportunity to find that other $9 million.
Folks had the chance to noodle over a list of budget options strictly for the input exercise. Nothing was officially on or off the table. For example, a $1.1 million savings could happen, but that would mean an elimination of 24 police officer positions. $700,000 could be saved with the closing of a pool. The city could support the replacement backlog of city vehicles, but that could cost the city $22.5 million. Increasing city building maintenance could cost $6.6 million. Quite the tough balance between services needed and available funds.
It's not an easy task. The budget has to be cut. The city has to do what they have to do to keep the city running.
Then there's the option of raising the real estate tax by 1 cent to $1.16 per $100 of assessed value.
The last time the council raised it 4 cents, I think that equated to, on average, about $23 a year. Well, $23 a year for one resident is not a lot of money, but when you add that times how many households we have in Norfolk, that's over $1.9 million or $1.6 million to the city. Boy, we could really, do a lot of services with that, or at least not close some things because we've lost revenue in other categories.
The idea was not to solve the budget problem in one night. After all, these options were just for exercise purposes. But it was a chance for the city to get input from residents and a chance for residents to get a feel for the tough job the city has when it comes to balancing a budget.
It's no easy task, budget, maintaining and trying to get a budget like you'd like, because you're not going to please everyone involved. A lot of cutting done, and a lot of programs are essential, and it's just difficult to choose the ones that wouldn't affect the people that you think it would. I'm not one for numbers, and I would never want to be in their shoes. I feel for them.
For Norfolk News Now, I'm John Linka.
For more on the city's budget, process, and timeline, go to norfolk.gov. The Mayor's Commission on Poverty Reduction held a series of meetings to get residents' input on prioritizing the draft recommendations for their poverty reduction report. The commission will conduct its work and submit a report to the council by July 2014. City Council established the Mayor's Commission on Poverty Reduction in 2013 to examine the nature of poverty in Norfolk and recommend actions that will increase education and employment, thereby reducing the city overall poverty level. When we come back, a collaboration between departments helps save the city thousands. Breaking ground on a development that will bring new jobs and services to the Mermaid City. And Norfolk civil rights leaders' contribution to history. Hear her amazing story. Stay tuned. Norfolk News Now will be right back.
I want to talk about the environment.
I want to talk about my neighborhood.
I want to talk about art.
We want to talk about schools.
Talk Norfolk is an online forum to discuss the things that matter most to you. You can identify problems and solutions, celebrate what makes Norfolk special, and work together to improve our city.
I want to talk Norfolk.
Join the conversation at norfolk.gov/talknorfolkva.
Welcome back to the Triple N. Cutting costs while delivering great service drives the city of Norfolk. Recently, an interdepartmental team improved the efficiency and accountability of lawn services provided by contractors on city-owned irregular lots known as gym lots. The gym program serves to transfer neglected properties to entities or neighboring property owners who will use the land in a beneficial way. Staff reviewed the current inventory of gym lots, and they raised the standards for grass cutting as well, well as trash and debris removal on the selected vacant lots. As a result of the improved standards, they will save the city more than $100,000 per fiscal year. This collaborative effort is a great example of how Norfolk can work across departmental lines, increase efficiencies, and improve the level of service for residents. City officials recently broke ground on a job-creating investment. The Ghent Station development is a $15.5 million private investment that will bring 130 new jobs and services to the area. Ghent Station will include a 22,000 square foot fresh market, Norfolk's first one, which plans to open by Thanksgiving. Ghent Station is also home to a state-of-the-art multi-use Bon Secours medical facility. The two-story medical facility will include physical therapy and sports medicine, occupational health, urgent care, and a surgical weight loss center, encompassing more than 26,000 square feet.
I mean, we call it a groundbreaking, but really what it is a celebration, and it is a really exciting time for everybody in the city, but the people in Ghent, the folks who live on the west side of town, and so this is a real celebration.
The 3.5-acre Ghent Station is on the former site of the Norfolk Senior Center. It's time once again for the Virginia International Tattoo. The Tattoo, a large-scale military musical celebration, will feature over 900 musicians and dancers from 8 countries.
The Tattoo has been a part of the Arts Festival since its inception in 1997. It is its signature event, and quite honestly, the Tattoo is one of the finest in the world now, certainly the finest in North America. And it's one of the most well-attended tattoos anywhere.
This year, the Tattoo and the City of Norfolk are joining the Vietnam War commemoration, a nationwide effort to recognize and honor Vietnam War veterans and their families.
As you know, and as I said this morning, Congress tasked the Department of Defense to lead our nation in thanking and honoring our Vietnam veterans and their families, and especially families who lost loved ones in that war. And so we've embarked on that. And we want to thank and honor those veterans where they live in their hometowns. And the way that we're doing that is recruiting and asking towns and cities and organizations to join us as commemorative partners. And the Virginia International Tattoo has become one of our very first commemorative partners, and they're helping us thank and honor our veterans and their families. And so we're very proud of that. Not only have they joined, but they're dedicating this year's International Tattoo to thanking and honoring our Vietnam veterans. And that's going to mean a great deal to our veterans and their families. And so we're very thankful, very grateful. Also, the City of Norfolk has become a commemorative partner in this very beautiful and patriotic city. And the fact that they are commemorative partners also means a great deal to our veterans and their families. So we're here to say thank you. We look forward to working together. And together we want to thank every Vietnam veteran and every family member, and especially those who lost loved ones or have loved ones who are still missing in action and unaccounted for.
Yes, as a part of the Tattoo and our commemoration of the Vietnam War, the traveling exhibit of the Vietnam Memorial, which is a scaled-down version of the memorial that's in Washington, will be here on display. It's about 50% of the size of the real memorial, but still it's very moving. It's been here many, many years ago, and we're glad to have it back.
The Virginia International Tattoo is April 24th to the 27th at Norfolk Scope. For tickets and information, visit vafest.org/tattoo. Norfolk played host to the MEAC basketball tournament recently, and the excitement wasn't limited to just Scope, where the games were held. Coaches from various MEAC schools hosted a basketball clinic for more than 75 youth from the Recreation Parks and Open Space basketball program and recreation centers. Players worked with coaches to polish their fundamentals and learn firsthand what it will take to land a spot on a college team. Coaches signed autographs and hosted a Q&A session where they stressed the importance of education discipline, character, and having a good work ethic. Several MEAC teams also took advantage of Norfolk's recreation centers to practice for their big games. While at the centers, they took the time to play games with students like Around the World and give them a few basketball pointers. Staff from the United States Marine Corps Recruiting Command Office of Diversity Engagement joined the MEAC action as they accompanied 40 students from the Huntersville Community Center to the games. Students and Marines enjoyed the game and then broke into groups where they discussed problem solving, career choices, and decision making. The trip provided the students with the opportunity to be mentored by a positive role model on life lessons and success. The MEAC's visit to Norfolk is sure to leave a lasting impression on the children who participated. The city of Norfolk just wrapped up their celebration of March Madness, but it had nothing to do with college basketball.
Each year people start to think about March, and you think about March Madness, and normally it's basketball and brackets and things of that nature. So we tried to change it a bit this year and talk about March Healthy Madness.
City employees had several chances throughout March and early April to take part in weekly 30-minute walks around Norfolk with City Manager Marcus Jones to get healthy and get out into the Mermaid City.
Not everybody's going to go out and run a marathon or half marathon, but there are some things that we can do, like walking each day and eating 5 sets of fruits and vegetables, or maybe even drinking 8 glasses of water a day.
And it's all tied into the continuing initiative of a healthy Norfolk.
We're getting out, we're walking. Maybe along the way we'll stop by some other businesses or some other communities and encourage other people to come out with us.
A new exhibit is now open at Nauticus, highlighting what the Navy does to keep our oceans clean and safe. The Triple N's John Linka explains.
We in the museum business, we tell stories. That's kind of what we do. If you get to the core of the crux of the matter, we're storytellers. And whether that story is about a battleship or a piece of art, we get to tell stories to the public. And I will tell you that this exhibit that you're about to see this morning tells an extraordinary story.
The exhibit is called Stewards of the Sea, Defending Freedom, Protecting the Environment. The 1,000 square foot exhibit is now open on the 3rd floor of Nauticus. With the touch of a finger, visitors will learn the story of how the Navy keeps the oceans clean and how it protects marine mammals with sonar and whale tagging. There's even a section devoted to Navy careers with an environmental focus.
Many people don't realize we too are marine mammals. Sailors and Marines go to sea. We operate and we live under the water, on the water, and above the water. And we need to make sure that we do everything in our power that where we operate, where we fight and defend our nation is safe for the generations that follow us. And the Stewards of the Sea is a terrific example that we've put over $100 million over the past few years to help educate America of what their Navy does for their nation and what their Navy does to preserve the world's oceans.
The 2-year-long project is a result of the continuing partnership between Nauticus and the Hampton Roads Naval Museum.
Our institution, which is located on the 2nd floor of this facility, is one of only 10 official U.S. Navy institutions in this country, and it is the only Navy museum in the Commonwealth of Virginia. For the past 2 decades, working with our partners here at Nauticus, we've shared our Navy treasures with more than 3 million visitors.
And they hope this will help add you to that list of visitors. Stewards of the Sea will be at Nauticus for the next 5 years. For more information, call 664-1000. For Norfolk News Now, I'm John Linka.
In late March, the Norfolk Senior Club held a remembrance lunch and ceremony for Evelyn Thomas Butts. Family and friends gathered at the Norview Community Center to honor and tell stories of the Norfolk native who fought for equality in Norfolk regardless of skin color or income level. Butts was active in numerous civic, community, and political organizations and received countless awards for her service. One of her greatest accomplishments was standing up to the Virginia poll tax. In November 1963, Butts, who was because an unemployed seamstress filed a lawsuit challenging the constitutionality of Virginia's $1.50 poll tax, a fee required of voters at the time, which she could not afford. The case made it to the U.S. Supreme Court in 1965, and in March 1966, the U.S. Supreme Court voted 6-3 to eliminate the poll tax. After the decision, Butts said the victory was an accomplishment, not just for poor blacks, but also for poor whites who could not afford to pay the tax. Other accomplishments included her appointment as the first black woman commissioner to the Norfolk Redevelopment and Housing Authority in 1975. In November, the city of Norfolk even named a street in her honor.
But I think if we were to really think about it right now in terms of what can we see today that we can tie right back to the work of Evelyn T. Butts, I think we can go straight to the White House. The truth of the matter is we would not have a Barack Obama in the White House today if we didn't have an Evelyn T. Butts and Women of Virginia's Third Force and the SCLC and the NAACP and all the organizations that she was a part of and led, actively involved with the poll tax case and actively involved with getting people registered to vote. It is still legendary that Mrs. Butts registered more people to vote in the Commonwealth of Virginia than any single individual that people can find in the entire country. You hear what I'm saying? Registered more people to vote than anyone else in the entire country. And so she laid that framework, she laid that background so that we would see many years later Barack Obama be able to rise to be president of the United States, or for that matter, Doug Wilder being able to rise to be the governor here in Virginia.
Butts was the mother of 3 daughters and took great interest in public school and fought against injustices in the Norfolk school system. She died in 1993, but her memory and legacy lives on, a testimony to the many people who showed up to honor and thank her.
It really warmed my heart. I almost started crying, you know, to see so many of the older people who still honor her for the things that she has done. You know, even having a street named after her in Oakwood. I mean, and to see all of these people, it was really great.
Well, that wraps up the April edition of Norfolk News Now on the Triple N. Thanks for watching Norfolk's Neighborhood Network for all things Norfolk. I'm Karen Parker Chesson. Take care of yourself and your city and celebrate life daily.